What is going on, everyone? Jimmy back here with another video. I'm doing something a little different, kind of like I used to do things where I'd actually like do time lapses and shipping of products, kind of a day in the life of what an Amazon seller might look like on a busy shipping day. Today is a bit busy. We have a bunch of products that are behind me that need to go out. I have some off to the side I have to show you, but it has the distributor's packaging all over it. I would like to not share that. If you do like this kind of stuff, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and essentially record kind of like I'm doing right now, but then we'll speed it up as I go through things, and as I do certain things, I will slow it down, and then I will voice over it when I'm in editing in the future to kind of talk through what I was thinking, what I was doing, because I still got to get this done. With that being said, if you like this kind of content, let me know. I can do more of it, but I got to know that it's actually useful for you guys. So like it, subscribe, leave me a comment below if it's good. If you want more stuff like this, then I will continue to do it. With that being said, I'm going to set this up, and I got to get shipping because it's already 11:30. And alright, let's give this a whirl. We're going to try to do this, set this up. We're just going to get going. It's going to ship, and like I said in the background, or on the back end, I will kind of, as I do things, I will kind of slow it down and walk you through what I'm doing. Cool. I'll see you all in a little while.
Let's have some fun with this and see if we're getting something recorded in here. You saw me kind of go off screen, come back in, grab more of the items that we're shipping out, entering them in right there, and then just getting stickers. I make sure that as I'm going along to very carefully add any quantities to Inventory Labs, which is software I use, and then also my buy sheet. As we're doing that, we're just packing them in. I have a pretty big box right there. That's actually a U-Haul extra large box. Purposely have that one going that big because there's a ton of, like, I have a bunch of big stuff I need to get out that's not quite oversized. So like we're going there first, getting that stuff in, and then we're just kind of rinsing and repeating this process here where we're just taking products, and in a little bit I will actually get pretty full on products, so then I need to start looking for smaller items I could potentially ship. While doing this, my scanner, because I left it off the base for a period of time, starts acting up. But you know, you can see I'm starting to use the smaller. You can see me right there going, "Oh crap! There's a scanner. What's going on?" Right? So like I'm trying to work through that. And in worst case, I have those items also in my buy log, so I can look them up. If you were watching one of the Source With Me videos, that's actually one of the products that we found, which I bought prior to actually doing the Source With Me video as well. And we're just continuing on. There's not a whole lot more to this whole step right here. I'm just trying to get this boxed out. The main thing I'm trying to do here though is get some room, because what off screen to the right, or would be left of me or right of you if you're watching the video, there's a pallet that's like 1.5 times the size of me that I'm gonna have to start working through after that. Alright, I'm working on finishing the shipment up, and I'm working through Inventory Lab, and it was eventually giving me some issues. So I essentially had to go back through and do send Amazon workflow, and I would encourage you to do that regardless. You can see me right now fumbling through, trying to finish it up while I'm waiting for it to go. Like, it takes forever, so I'm trying to clean things up and find stuff to do. So I'm working through that, and then once that's all put together and done, that is done, and I'm going to be working into the palette, so to speak, from there. Then that's pretty much it for this first little round of stuff. Alright, I repositioned the camera so you can see kind of what's going on. What I'm essentially doing is having to break down cases. What you're seeing to the left is a pallet of products, a bunch of toys, and so I'm opening all of those up, trying to get enough together, because I'm going to need to go through and, well, I don't need to, but I'm going to choose to go through and do an optimized shipment. And if you've noticed, I keep my workflow real tight. I try to keep as little steps as possible, trying to be somewhat lean with my processing, like the lean processing system. It's definitely, I'm still taking too many steps. Things aren't flowing as well, and I want to make it better. But you get an idea. So I'm just going through these things and setting and breaking those down. You can see I'm having to walk out of the way. I should have something closer than those steps right there as well, but I don't yet, and that's part of getting a little bit better step by step. So I'm breaking these down, and we'll continue from there, and I will speed it up. Alright, what I'm doing right here, which for anyone that ships things before is aware that I'm obviously taping boxes, putting those together, right? But the main thing here is I'm going to be setting 5 boxes up. This is to do far as the optimized splits, and I'm trying to keep these boxes super tight together. So like within a few feet, because what I'm going to have to do is go through and let's say I have 20 of something, I'm going to have 5 boxes. I need to put 4 in each one of those boxes. That's going to help me with optimized splits, so I can get things checked in faster and quicker. So I can buy more, help cash flow. Well, excuse myself there, and going from there. So I'm setting all of those up right now. I'm going to do that, and occasionally you'll probably see me when we do these time lapses where you're going to watch me like walk in kind of a semicircle and put products in place each one of these boxes. But like I said, I'm always trying to keep my workflow small and as tight as possible to reduce steps. Extra steps just doesn't help when you're trying to get stuff out and be efficient as possible. So like some people that have like giant warehouses or spaces is fantastic if it makes sense, but I would prefer to work into a smaller, more tight space like this, and then have space to stage pallets or whatever else that's sitting off to the side, versus having too much space and having to walk back and forth. You're just wasting steps and energy while doing that. So you're going to be able to see now split up, but I have some of those products and I have everything moved up. You notice how like I'm pretty tight with my spacing, and I'm just packing, moving in that little circle over and over again. So I'll unload stuff, I'll open the cartridges up, or the cartons up, enter them in inventory lab, get them prepped, and repeat. And that's basically my entire workflow when I'm doing optimized splits, breaking things down off a pallet. As you see there, I had to go a little further away. I do wish I had a little bit longer of a space to be able to set like a spot for cardboard or something like that. But other than that, then we're doing that, resetting back up, putting them in there one at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and rinsing and repeating. If I have more than 5, let's say I have 7, I'll set 2 of those aside, and those onesie Tuesdays get set aside, and then from there I will do those in a separate non-optimized min split shipment.
Unfortunately, this will turn off after a period of time, but I just wanted to stop making some progress. Got everything out ready to go. I'm going to keep going. I will have to occasionally reset this and kind of do this. Unfortunately, it's a safety net that this Canon camera gets put in place, so it'll be 30-minute time lapses, give or take, and then we'll reset. You'll see me come over and redo it again.
Okay, what you're seeing me do here once again with this wholesale stuff, so I've got a bunch of case packs and I'm having to break them up. These are like a pack of 10 of something that I'm repackaging into a listing of a pack of 4 with that. So I'm just basically getting all those done and putting those together for the listing. Alright, in this next clip, same idea. I got slightly distracted by a group chat I'm in, which, by the way, if you're not in like some sort of group chat or something with other sellers, you should, or other people in whatever industry you're in, you should be doing that. Once again, I'm just setting up. You can see that big pink pile over the sides, a bunch of Barbies that I'm waiting for the listing to get created. It says pending listing creation on Inventory Lab, and so I'm creating those and setting those up. And then in the meantime, some of them we're getting done, so I'm able to label them and put them once again into sets of 5. So like I have 5 boxes once again. We'll just split them up into break them into 5. Then we kind of just gonna rinse and repeat this process basically until I get these boxes full, or as full as I can. Alright, we're on to the next clip, and once again I'm just working now. I'm waiting for that last, like, there's 3 different assortments of Barbies are in there, and there's the one that's taking up the most space is the one that's just pending creation. It's just sitting there, and it's very tempting just to kind of sit around and twiddle your thumbs, but it's hot out in that garage at that point. I think it's close to 100 degrees. Maybe 90 to 100 in the garage. That's why you hear fans going on in the background as well. I have an evaporator cooler off screen to the left. I have a little mini fan right in front of me to try to help keep things a little cooler. But in the meantime, I'm just going through and trying to get as much stuff out as I can while I wait for this to get created. Hindsight 2020, these 30 Barbies or so took forever to get the listing created. Everything else was smooth and I was ready to ship, but this definitely dragged things down. So if I would have sat, I would have been there for quite a long time. And this kind of a not pro tip, but get your listings created in advance. It's going to help your workflow. And if you have like if you have people helping you or you're employing people, it's going to only speed them up and make them more productive. I made the mistake to not have everything created in advance, specifically for like assortment packs, because I didn't know exactly like how many of each things are going, but I should have created those listings in advance. So like hindsight 2020, always create the listings even if you don't know how many are coming in, as long as you know that what's inside the assortment pack and you get the correct overall quantity. So at this point I was just working on trying to figure out what could I get shipped out. The Barbies finally went through, as you can see, they're off the table, and I was trying to figure out what is the weight of the boxes. Do I have enough to even really justifiably ship them out? So I wanted to try to get more units in there so I could drive my cost per unit down just a little bit. So like I'm trying to figure out what can I ship, what should I do to try to do that. This is the most frustrating part about like doing these optimized splits, specifically coming off of like a pallet, because you kind of know the sizes of things, but you don't know. Like you don't know for sure. So like that's kind of where I'm like, okay, what can we potentially get in these boxes to help add some weight and add some unit to these? Because if I get a bad like split where most of the stuff is, I'm out west, if most of it goes out east, central, and east, it's gonna get kind of expensive. If I get a lucky split, it won't be too bad, but either way I'm trying to get my cost per unit down on price to get it shipped to wherever I need to get it shipped to. So unfortunately, the camera battery died shortly after this little section that you saw there. I worked to continue to try to get things into the box the best I could, but it was also getting close to like 2:30 at that point. So we'd started at 11:30, it's 2:30, 3 hours out there shipping. It was for sure over 100 degrees out, so I was just trying to find anything I could get to go. On top of that, Prime Day is coming, so I'm trying to get stuff out today. Today's Thursday, June 26th, and the entire idea here was to get things moving. So they moved over the weekend, hopefully got out to wherever they're gonna go, and got live for Prime Day, and just helps overall cash flow, getting that money back sooner. Some of these items aren't items that you would typically like think you'd want to buy, like, you know, 100,000 like rank Barbie isn't like particularly great, but like if you're making $4 or $5 and you're only spending $2 or $3, like it starts to make sense. So I did that. And one other thing I wanted to mention when doing these optimized splits, specifically like an inventory lab. Inventory labs makes calls to the API, Amazon's API, and send to Amazon gets a little trickier to do it in there. You can, but it gets a little trickier, so it takes a little more time. So what I did, which didn't show up on the recording, was because of the battery, is I went through in all the onesie twosies. So like if I had a case pack of 12, I can only send 10 optimized and 2 separate. I would go through and then I would work on building that shipment while I waited for the API to go through, and that allowed me to get an extra like $700-800 worth of stuff out the door in the same amount of time. So we did that. I think I have one more like last video kind of reviewing the numbers for the day. They weren't particularly like I thought I was going to keep recording, but this is already getting kind of long as it is, so I'll show that part of the video and then you can kind of see what's going on over there. If you like the stuff, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. This is very much an experimental try at this to see if this is something you guys want to see, kind of more raw, like under-edited, just real, this is what we're doing day in and day out kind of thing. Happy to keep doing these. They don't take too terribly long for me to do. If you like it, let me know, leave a comment like I said in the beginning, and I'll show kind of the results at the end here of how much we got shipped out, what the cost per unit was to do optimized. Spoiler, I kind of got screwed on the placement. I had a bunch of stuff go out east, but that's the way that works sometimes. It's still gonna make sense even doing that, but I will cut to that video and we'll get you out of here.
All right, back inside, looking a little crazy. A lot of shipping happened. That shipment you watched me do, that was primarily wholesale. That was meh, but my intent was to go through and get these out the door so they're ready for Prime Day, which today's the 26th. Prime Day, what is that, like the 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that? So I'm a little short on time, so I was willing to pay more to get that stuff live and get that cash flow going. So I paid about 59 cents a unit shipped in total. We got 247 units out. That should bring in an additional like $4,100 in revenue. Overall today, everything, there was one shipment before you saw the wholesale stuff that went out. That was, you saw some of that, but $7,300 shipped today. For the week, I have out about 73 and 43, so that's 11,000, and that my goal is to get $10,000 shipped in revenue. So that's kind of what a slightly heavier shipping day looks like for me. But still, knowing your revenue shipped, your cost per unit shipped, and like your cash flow definitely is a big deal. So I will leave it there for this one. Hopefully this was helpful. I got some other non-Amazon things I'm going to take care of next, so I won't vlog that. And yeah.